Welcome to another episode of Rod's Views, where you will get uncontaminated, direct, insightful, thoughtful, and thought provoking views around current affairs as it affects our country. Firstly, at last, Pala Gate made its way to our highest court in the country, meaning the Constitutional Court. The lawyers made some fascinating legal argument. At last, we will now know whether Parliament fluffed its lines in how it had to hold President Ramaphosa accountable. And secondly, we'll know whether this man really has a case to answer. Thankfully for many South Africans and for progress of this case, Advocate Dali Mpofu was not a player over there. Then the GNU had its umpteenth wobble. This time it was around the Bella Bella Bill, or the the Bella Act, Basic Education Law Amendment Act. I almost choked on my water when I read and heard that an agreement has been reached between government and some trade unions and others, or unions and others, Solidariteit and so on, that the contentious sections will now not be implemented or be delayed. But soon thereafter, out of the blocks, the Deputy President Paul Mashatile, said, poured cold water over that he had to go to the clearinghouse. And then lately, the President Ramaphosa himself poured cold water over that. But there'll be lots of water, lots of thrills await us around this matter, and just how long the GNU will continue to exist. And then we had this spectacle of a guy that used to be the head of detectives in the Western Cape, in the SAPS. He was dismissed for various nefarious activities he was engaged in, and only to hear now this week that he's been reappointed by the national SAPS people. The Western Cape government clearly was not happy about it. Even the chair of the portfolio committee, who's a DA person, of the National Portfolio Committee, he was beyond upset. And the Western Cape government is even, or the DA is even threatening court action should that proceed. So this is going to be fun. And then the courts hit us with a bombshell of a ruling where they found that some of the senior executives of one of our listed companies, Data, were guilty of major fraud and impropriety when it came to BE and BE fronting, in terms of how they scammed a Japanese investor. So some of the darlings of the business world, people like Jeremy Ord, Bruce Watson, a guy called Stephen Nathan, Saki Masaikos, Grant Bodley, and Jason Goodall, they were all named in this. It's actually been instructive to see how the media and the commentators are tiptoeing around this thing. My sense is that these guys should be severely punished, and I think they should be ostracized. The question is, and it's a relevant question, if these were black folks that were not accused of doing stuff like this, but found guilty of doing stuff like this, wonder what would have happened. And meanwhile, at the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, the Minister, Gayton McKenzie, continuing in his merry ways to promise or hand over money from that department as if it comes from his personal piggy bank. This time it's so-called living legend who are going to get tens of thousands of rands from him. And the question is, does this guy really understand that the money of that department is not his personal money and not his piggy bank to do with as he pleases? And does he know that government is practically running out of money? And costs will have to be cut from some of the vanity projects that some of the departments are having. Then another nice movie that's playing out is actually at Sascock, with its president Barry Hendricks being elected unopposed as president again. And I don't know if you can remember this guy initially when he started. He had to deal with many fireballs over there, and he seemed to have put that ship on sailing on calmer waters. So well done to him. Then at SA Rugby, the saga is continuing around its equity deal. And this time some heavy hitters in the South African business community has entered the fray against the American equity partner. People like Johan Rupert, Skalkberger Sr., and others. They're making a play. As some of us have predicted and have waited. I'm just waiting for someone like Patrice Motsepe to also, or some other connected black individual to also join this fray. So this is a movie that we need to follow closely as well. And then over at the MK Party, or the Green Berets as I call them, the roller coaster continues. This time its president Jacob Zuma has again dismissed people, replaced people. This time it's its Treasurer General. And the roller coaster continues there. And on the other side, we have the Red Berets, which is the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, spitting fire and to an extent declaring war against MK Party and Jacob Zuma in order to stop the bleeding in his party. The question is still, what is really at play over there? And then our law enforcement agencies seem to get new oomph, where we hear that they are now going after 3 previous national cricketers for match-fixing transgressions they did in 2015, 2016. And then up in KZN, they are attaching the assets of a lady called Sean McKeezy, who's a big business mogul up there, and she scored hundreds of millions of rand in tenders. As they say, the law moves slowly, but it moves. Luckily, the law is moving over here. But the key question is whether we will get convictions from this and people would be in jail. And then the movie around the spaza shops and illegal miners, or the Zama-Zamas, continue with lots of turns, tosses and turns. And I still think this thing is going to end very badly, especially around the Zama-Zamas. But I think the authorities will only get to to deal with this matter if they get closer to who the kingpins are, and then we'll probably get a resolution about this. And then over at UCT, that's my alma mater, there's two interesting things happened during this week. Is one, the installation of its new vice chancellor into his position. Quite a joyous occasion. He seems like a solid chap who will probably put the university on a new and positive trajectory. So good luck to him. And but then at that same campus there's something else at play that we heard during this course of 16 days of no violence against women and children. We hear about the revered Professor Pierre de Vos from the Constitutional and Administrative Law fame about allegations of child pornography. It's serious and it's sad. So yeah, it's a real yin and yang moment there at UCT. So yeah, what a way to enter the month of December as we go around on this roller coaster of Mzansi movie. So yeah, as I say, please share this podcast with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe or join Rod's Views on our YouTube. Salute.